Hi, my name is Corey, and I wanted to share the first part of my testimony. Not going to finish it all tonight, probably, but I did want to at least start it and begin the process of sharing that, getting that out there, because I'm big on testimonies. I mean, testimonies are really important because people have been through a lot of stuff, and God has delivered people from a lot of stuff, and people need to hear about all that God has delivered us from, because it's some of it's amazing, you know. So my story goes way back around 2000. I was living in Dallas, Texas at the time, and I was in sales, and I invested a lot of time and energy and effort in sales, and I was doing that, and I was married. I was on my second marriage. I had just gone through a divorce because I was just, really bad in that first divorce. I cheated on my wife, and I was addicted to drugs and substances, and I didn't do well on that one at all, and that one failed. But after that marriage, I was so busted over that because I had 2 kids in that marriage, and they went and lived with her. And something inside of me, because the funny thing is right at the end of that marriage, I was actually trying to get sober. And I started going to AA and doing all these other things to try and get my life straightened out, but it was a little too late, and the enemy had already come in and just decimated it. But I didn't really know God then, you know what I mean? I wasn't following God. I didn't understand any of the things of God at all. I can't be certain that I even really believed in God. I wasn't sure. But I know that because I'd been trying, I had a little pity party after that divorce, and I decided, okay, I'm going to get high every day. You know what I mean? I had been addicted to this substance called cough syrup it's dextromethorphan in the cough syrup since I was like 15 years old when I was introduced to it. And I just had been doing it off and on over the years. And I started doing it every day. I literally lost my mind, and I started taking a bottle every single day. And what I notice about that syrup is that when you take it every day for about 30 days straight, something happens, like a possession takes place. I don't fully understand it. I just know that after about a month of taking it every day, something takes over inside of you. And so I was hooked on this syrup. I was doing this syrup, and I met another girl, and we actually got married too. And throughout that marriage, I was still using. In fact, I started to use other things like meth, and it just got really bad. I was hiding it from her, and she had no idea, and I had no idea what to do, because at this point, I was hooked. I was really hooked. I mean, I did not know how I could quit. It was like I had been doing it for so long that the only way I knew now. I became dependent on it in order to be myself, in order to get the stuff done that I needed to get done every day. I became dependent on substances. And I didn't understand that Satan was behind all of that. I just didn't have a clue then. I just thought they were substances and we're all in this world. I didn't think about God, put it that way. God was not in my life at all. And neither was the devil. And I don't even think I believed in the devil. I didn't know what to believe in, to be honest with you. I could feel some weird things sometimes when I was on that stuff. I don't know. But I was hooked. I mean, I was so hooked, and I was hiding it from her and deceiving and all kinds of stuff. And anyway, I ended up losing that wife too. And at the end of that marriage, which only lasted maybe a year and a half, 2 years, I found myself alone in an apartment. I had gone and I'd gotten an apartment, and I think I had the rent paid for maybe 2-3 months. And I went and got some drugs and did all the drugs that I could do. And I was alone in this dark apartment, isolated, crushed. I felt like there was no way that I could break free from these substances. I mean, I just could not live without them. You know what I mean? And I was running out of money, and I didn't know how I was going to get more to live. And I thought, well, I can't live. You know, I'm broken. There's something wrong with me. You know what I mean? There's something, I'm just defective. You know, I'm not like other people. I've got to have these substances all the time. I need to die. I need to kill myself because I'm not going to ever get free. And I was depressed, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I was just down and out because I had given up hope, you know, that I could do anything. And I grabbed a knife. It was a razor sharp knife. It was like a diver's knife. It had a flashlight inside of it and all kinds of stuff. And it was just razor sharp. And I was going to slit my wrist and just bleed out all over the floor and just die. I thought, man, nobody's going to care anyway, but it doesn't matter anyway. I can't live like this anymore, and I don't want to put anybody through this stuff anymore, and I don't want to go have another failed marriage. I can't do this anymore. I'm broken. Everything I touch breaks. I might as well just die. You know, this is it for me. So, but for some reason, while I was sitting there on the couch, I said, God, I'm sitting here thinking, is he real? I wonder if God is real. I don't think he's real. But if he's real, I want to know. And I said, God, if you're real, I need to know. And if you're real, I won't do this. And I'm telling you, right after I said that prayer, I felt a power come over me, a tangible power, the presence of God, so strong that it came over me, and I fell back into the couch, and I was numb. I was just buzzing, just zzz. And it didn't last long. It maybe lasted for a couple of minutes, but it was so beautiful. The peace that I had, the joy, the elation, the buzz was incredible. I mean, I'm talking like I've done LSD, I've done all kinds of crazy drugs, heroin, all kinds of things, and they're like nothing compared to this. I mean, it was like amazing, and I knew without a doubt that God had touched me. And I just remember thinking, wow, God is real. There really is a God. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that there was really a God out there. I mean, that just blew me away. You know, I remember thinking, why don't they teach people about this stuff in school? There's really a God. People need to know this stuff. I didn't know who God was, though. That's the problem. I still didn't know God. I had no idea who he was. I just knew there was one. And I didn't stop using drugs. I continued to use drugs. I didn't know what I needed to do, go to a church. I didn't know. I didn't know what to do. So I kept using, but I knew that suicide was not an option. But things got worse and worse for me, financially, everything. I lost my apartment. I lost my car. I was just going downhill to the point that I was homeless, and for like maybe a day. And I called my stepdad in Midland, Texas, and I said he had gone through a program called Teen Challenge out there in Midland, and I said, you know, maybe I could do that too. You know, that's a drug rehabilitation thing, and maybe I could go out there and find God, you know. And so I called him up, and he said, yeah, you can come out here. And he got me a bus ticket, and I took a ride out there, and I got out to Midland, and they were full. And so they were scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. And I moved in with this family, and they were a Christian family. And it was weird. It was like, I had never seen anything like that, because they didn't watch TV. they had a TV in there, but they didn't watch it. I mean, they put in like a movie, maybe, or stuff like that, you know, like selective watching. And they had a computer with internet, but they didn't really get on that. It was just the weirdest thing. And the oldest son, who I shared a room with, he when he would get up in the morning, he would open up the Bible and read the Bible. And I thought, man, I liked it. But it was it was weird. I'd never seen anything like that, because I've always lived for myself, and I'd always done what I wanted to do, and they were not doing things normally, and like the world does it. And the oldest son, he played a song for me on his guitar, and he sang, and I just remember thinking, oh my goodness, yeah, God is real, and he loves these people, and he's blessed these people, because he had the most beautiful voice, and he played wonderfully. And I just thought, wow, I want what they have. You know, I was just blown away, and it was just amazing. And while I was living there, they took me to a deliverance service like right off the bat. I mean, I remember I went over to this house, and this deliverance minister, his name is Keith McClellan, and there was a group of people around, just like standing around the wall, the perimeter of this room, big room, and they brought this girl in there, and she was, I think, going to be one of the 7 brides of Satan. She was in all black. I think she had come from California, and he was casting devils out of her. And I was just sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, you know, they were all praying, but I didn't know what to do. I was just watching, and her tongue would move around, and she would like fall to the ground, and they'd have to get her back up and wake her back up, and it was hard to watch it, because they were trying really hard, you know, to help her out. And we were there for hours, and they were still going, and we left, and we didn't go back the week after that. I think they had to do another weekend with her, and but I saw her like a month and a half later in a Lowe's. I was walking through there, and I noticed her, and she didn't recognize me. She didn't even know who I was, but I remembered her, and her face looked different. She was soft, peaceful, like glowing. Her hair was softer. Her skin was soft. Her eyes were clear. She had joy. She was smiling. It was like, whoa, totally different person. And I knew at that point, I was like, okay, this is real, you know what I mean? And they did it to me too, and when they finally did it to me, I felt this, my video got interrupted because I'm using my phone, and I got a phone call and it just shut it down. But when they were doing deliverance on me, my stomach was swirling. I could feel something in there moving around real fast, and then this lady walked over to Keith, and she whispered something into his ear, and then he put this oil in the shape of a cross, or she might have done it, I don't remember, in the shape of a cross. And my eyes, I felt something come to my eyes, and I felt like they just went like that, and they got real heavy. And Keith was looking into my eyes, and he said, oh yeah. And it was just, it was a riveting experience. And in spite of that, I didn't really know what to think. I was still trying to process everything and figure out what was going on. You know, I didn't really understand. I was like a baby Christian. I don't even know that I was saved. I don't know. I have no clue. But I know that, unfortunately, about a month later, I decided to. I had been with the Foleys for like 3 months maybe, and they liked me so much that I just stayed there. And they decided not to take me to Teen Challenge, and we started a lawn care business. Jeremiah, the oldest son, and I, and I got money, and I started using cough syrup again, and I was hiding it, and they found out really fast. And anyway, when I took the cough syrup this time, I must have been cleansed. I think I was delivered, no doubt about it, because when I took the cough syrup this time, I felt evil just enter into me, like way worse than before. Way worse. I mean, the Word of God says when you get delivered and set free, the demons come back 7 times stronger the next time. So I was clearly way more possessed this time, and they said, I remember I picked up a guitar, one of Jeremiah's guitars in his room. He had an electric guitar, and I picked it up and I started playing it, and something controlled me. Something took over the guitar. I was playing things that I'd never played before. There was a band that I used to listen to called Sepultura, and I started playing riffs by them that I didn't even know how to do. Never even learned. I started playing them. I started playing stuff like Hendrix and just crazy stuff. And clearly something had taken over. And that experience also helped me to understand that musicians can be taken over by Satan. And the devil, demons, can enter into that person and play through that person. I know that. I have experience. That's what happened during that period. I'm telling you, they did. They took over. They were moving my fingers around. They took me over. And I felt it too, and I liked it. That's what was crazy about it. I mean, I was just in sin again, and it was just nasty and grotesque. And anyway, a few days later, Cindy, the mother, she said she knew that something wasn't. They had found out that I had taken cough syrup, and they had busted me. And she said, "Well, looks like you need to go to Teen Challenge." And at this point, I was like, the demons had just taken me over. And I said, "Well, I've decided that I don't want to go that way anymore." And I said, "Would you please drop me off on the side of the highway?" And my thinking was, I'll just go to Austin and I'll just play. I mean, I'm telling you that when I got taken over by that demon, I just was playing stuff like crazy. And I thought, well, I could take that and play that in Austin, you know what I mean? And that would be pretty fun. And I said, just drop me off and I'll go to Austin and I'll just disappear, And this is where everything started getting very, very interesting for me. When they dropped me off, it was just starting to get nighttime, and it seemed like right when they dropped me off, this wind blew in. I'm on the side of the highway, and this wind just rolls in, and rain starts rolling in on me, and I'm looking around, oh my gosh, where am I going to go? And I ran over to this building, it was like a small little service building out in the field, middle of a field with a giant tower next to it. And I got over underneath that little overhang on that just to get out of the rain a little bit. And lightning crashing around me. I'm kind of scared, and it's raining, and it's nighttime at this point. And the Lord flashed a movie kind of my past before my eyes, just me as a child and some other things, and I don't know why he did that, but he flashed that, and I just remember I was kind of sorry, but I was also coming out of this cough syrup thing, and I was still kind of had some demonic stuff, and I didn't know what to do. And when the next day, when the sun started coming out, it started getting hot. Midland, Texas is right out there in desert country. It gets really hot. And I just remember getting hot, and I didn't know where to go. I mean, I'm telling you, like I was a salesman in Dallas, okay? I lived in a nice place. I drove a nice car. I wore like sateen clothing and ties all the time. I didn't know how to live out there. I didn't. I was a city boy living in comfort all the time. So I didn't know what to do. I go get a cardboard box, and I put it over this mesquite bush, and I'm just sitting there underneath it like in self-pity. The sun's beating down on me. I'm sweating. I'm aggravated. I don't know what to do. It was a nightmare. And anyway, I got really mad. I started getting mad, and I said, I don't want to be a Christian. I don't want to follow Jesus. if this is how Christians, I started getting mad at the Foleys for dropping me off, even though I asked them to. And I said, look, if this is how Christians are going to be, I don't want to be a Christian. I don't want to follow Christians. I'm sitting here having a little hissy fit, and I said, this is where things started changing for me. I said, I want to follow the devil. And as soon as I said that, for the very first time in my life, I started hearing a voice. And it was the devil. It was a demon, a devil. And he asked me, he said, where do you want to go? And I just remember hearing it, and I thought, I was kind of like, a little bit like, did I just hear that? Is this is real? I was kind of like in shock a little bit. But at the same time, I was kind of like, this is real? Is this what I need to do? And I was confused, and I said, well, I want to go to Austin. And he said, okay. Well, he said, if I'll do that for you. And he said, if you want to call on me at any time, you just say my name 3 times, and I'll be here. And I said, okay. And I'm telling you, like right after that, this truck pulls up, a camouflage truck, and these 2 people get out of the truck, and they're in camouflage. They're Mexican people, and they had these black shades on, and they walk over, and they said, where do you want to go? And I said, I want to go to Austin. And he said, come with us. And I went with them, and I went to the bus station, and no questions asked. They didn't say anything to me. They bought a ticket for me. And I went and sat down, and they disappeared. They just walked away. They drove away. And I'm sitting there in the bus station on the seat, and I'm like, what has just happened to me? I'm scared. I'm like, it's like a whirlwind. I'm confused. I'm like, what just happened? I'm trying to figure it all out. Is this real? Am I losing my mind? Is the drugs, had they screwed my head up? I'm sitting here trying to figure all this out. Like, don't know what to think, and all of a sudden I hear this other voice. Now, this was a different voice. This was like it wasn't a sly, like kind of a, it's hard to describe. It was more of a clean and pure and bold voice. And I knew that was the Lord for some reason. And he said, don't get on that bus. And I'm thinking, okay, did I hear what? I'm hearing another voice now. I mean, I'm like freaking now. I'm thinking, okay, well, I'm losing my mind for sure now. And he said, don't get on that bus. And I was scared. I didn't know what to say. I mean, I was really scared, really confused. And the voice got quiet. And I'm just sitting there in my seat trying, do I get on the bus? Do I get on the bus? What do I do? What do I do? I didn't know what to do. And then all of a sudden the voice came back like maybe 5-10 minutes later and said, okay, that bus is about to pull up right now. Don't get on it, whatever you do. And I heard the voice, and then all of a sudden this bus pulls into the station and parks like right in front of where I was at in the window. And I thought, how did he know that? And I was like, whoa, this is real. This is serious. Something's going on here. I got to figure this out, And anyway, I had to get on the bus. I mean, I had a ticket. I still didn't understand what was going on. So I went to the bus, and the bus driver said, your seat is in the back. And I thought, I've ridden a lot of buses when I was younger. I thought, they never tell you that, or they never told me that before. You get on the bus and you go sit where you want to sit. And okay. And I got on there, and as I'm walking back, it was weird. It was like I was looking down the aisles at the people, and I thought something told me like they were rappers that had sold their souls, and that they had done the same thing that I had done. They were trying to make a deal with the devil. And I walked back to the back of the bus, and I sat down. I'm just like, there were 2 people to the left of me, and I'm right there by the bathroom, and I'm just looking forward, because you can look straight down the aisle, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, what have I done? What have I done? What do I do? Is this the right thing to do? I'm sitting here freaking out, and the bus goes down the road towards Big Spring, about 45 minutes away, and I see this, I just kind of look to my left a little bit, and I see this girl, and she's just kind of like reading something, and I hear the Holy Spirit tell me again, get off this bus right now. Get off this bus. And I thought, okay, I need to get off of this bus. I do need to. Suddenly I just obeyed. I said, yes, okay, I'll get off this bus. But I said, I don't want to tell him right now. We're going down the highway. I mean, what's he going to do? Pull over and drop me off on the side of the road? Can we at least wait till we get to the next stop and I'll get off? And I didn't hear the Holy Spirit again. But I heard her slam her book, and I looked over, and the guy next to her, he was bent over down like that, and I looked at the back of his hat, and it had Satan written on it. And her little wristband had Satan on it. And the guy said, what is it? I heard him say, what is it? And she said, it's the Holy Spirit. And they didn't look at me. They were just kind of hunched over like this, looking that direction towards the window. And I thought, what the heck? And anyway, I got out. When we got to the next stop, I got off that bus. And when I was getting off, the bus driver said, are you sure you want to get off? Hell's in the forecast. And I just remember thinking, that was a really ominous thing to say. And I kind of looked at this. So when I got off the bus, the bus driver said, are you sure you want to get off? Hell's in the forecast. And I just remember, by this time I was already I was done. You know what I mean? I said, yes, I'm going to get off. And I just remember looking at the sky, and it was bright blue, and I thought, hell's in the forecast. Yeah, right. What does that really mean? And when I got off the bus, I just started walking. You know, Big Spring, they dropped me off in the downtown area. It was a smaller town, really, kind of run down. And there was an abandoned building down there. And I just went inside there, and I just laid down in the middle of the floor. I was exhausted. I was so tired. And I just thought, I need to rest. You know, I need to clear my head. This has been a lot for today. And I laid down and I passed out. And all of a sudden at 3 in the morning, I heard the Holy Spirit speak again. And he said, get up. Go back to the bus station, buy a ticket, and go back to Midland. And I remember thinking to myself, I've just got $10 in my wallet. How am I going to get a bus ticket back to Midland? You can't get a bus ticket for $10. You know, I thought this isn't going to work. And besides that, it's 3 in the morning. There's no bus station open in a small town at 3 in the morning. I've ridden enough buses to know that in smaller towns, they're closed. They're shut down. And in bigger cities, maybe the bus station will be open. But in small towns, usually you just you stop there and you drop people off and you just keep going because they're closed. I obeyed and I walked back to the bus station. It was open. Open for business. I mean, it was pretty weird. But at this point, I was willing to accept anything. I was open to anything just because it was all pretty weird anyway. So I walked in there and I said, I'd like a bus ticket back to Midland, please. He said, that'll be $10. I thought, $10, okay. That's exactly what I have. Here's $10. He gives me a bus ticket, and I'm starting to feel pretty good at this point because I feel like God's in control and I'm doing the right thing now. I'm obeying God. And I went and sat down in one of the seats, and a few minutes later, this lady walks in through the door, and she's got dark eyes and kind of overweight and just kind of scary looking lady. And she walks in and she sits. I mean, we've got all these seats in this place. You know, probably 30 seats in this place. And she walks over and sits directly in front of me. And she stares right at me. And she said, are you sure you want to leave? And I thought, yes, I do. And she got up and walked out of the bus station. Now, I have no idea where that bus was taking me. I don't have a clue where it was taking me. I don't know if we were all going to hell. I don't know if we were going to make a deal with the devil. I have no clue. But for whatever reason, the Holy Spirit wanted me to get off of that bus. And, oh my goodness, yeah. Anyway, this is the first part of my testimony. It was, first of all, it really, really shocked me. I don't think I believed that the devil was real. I still didn't really believe. But when he started talking to me, when a demon did, the devil, there's only one Satan, one Lucifer. There's demons everywhere, but they all work together. So it was just a demon, that was doing that. But I didn't believe. I don't think I really believed that they were real. They're real. He answered me. He talked to me. He gave me instructions. He had people working for him behind the scenes, and he's real, And that's what I took from that experience was the devil is definitely absolutely real. And I went through some other experiences in Midland. Midland was the beginning of my testimony, really. It's where everything started for me with regard to getting to know the Lord, getting to know the devil, all of these different things, the culmination of all those things. It was Midland, Texas was where this all started for me. And when I got back to Midland on that bus, I got dropped off at the station. It was like 3:30, 4 in the morning. It was pitch black. The lights weren't even on. Midland's a bigger city, and they were closed. Come on. I mean, Big Spring, the bus station is wide open for business at 3 a.m. I don't understand. But Midland was closed. It was locked tight, and their lights were off. I mean, it was just dark. I was sitting there on the bench trying to figure out what I was going to do, and the next day I got a hold of Teen Challenge, and I said, look, I think I want to try and do this. And one of the guys came and picked me up, and he brought me back out there, and he wanted me to like get started in the program immediately. You know what I mean? Just, hey, you got to do this, you got to do that, let's do this, get up at 600, and we're going to do this and this and that. And I thought, sir, I'm coming down off of, days and days of cough syrup, and I've done this before. When I lived in Dallas, I did it for years, and when I come down off of this stuff, I'm going to sleep for like 2 days at least. I mean, I won't even get up. I mean, I'll just lay there. I won't even eat. I mean, that's how this stuff, when you come off of that, it just knocks you out cold. And I told him, I said, I can tell you, I've been through this before. I'm not going to be able to get up. I mean, I need to detox at least for a day or two, please. I'm begging with you. I'm pleading with you. And it wasn't a part of their program at the time, and he couldn't do it. So they have that program in place now, which is really fortunate because they needed it when I was there. Otherwise, I would have been in the program. But he couldn't do that, so he took me to the Salvation Army and dropped me off there. And immediately when I got dropped off, I went around to the back of the Salvation Army building, and I just laid down on the grass back there against the building, and I just fell asleep immediately. I was gone. And I woke up, I don't know how long, much longer after that, and I saw these two guys standing over me, and one of them was the captain of the Salvation Army, and another guy was this guy named Bill, who I got to know. He was the cook. And I remember the captain just looked down at me very lovingly, and he said, "Sir, what can I do to help you?" And I said, I just need to sleep. I need a bunk. I just need to rest. I'm exhausted. Please. And he said, "Come in. We'll get you a bed." I mean, it was such a blessing. No questions asked. They just brought me in there, and they loved on me. The Salvation Army. I'm not knocking Teen Challenge. I don't want to do that. They've done a lot of good things for a lot of people, but the Salvation Army, I also love them a lot. They really, really helped me a lot. No questions asked. They took me right in. They fed me. They gave me a bed. They let me sleep for a couple of days. No questions asked. I mean, that was very, very loving. And I love them for that, and I'll always support them for that. But I started really seeking the Lord there, and I started playing music in the church. I remember I asked God, I said, God, I want to play like the Jeremiah Foley did, the family that I lived with, the oldest son. I wanted to play like him. I was like, Lord, will you give me music like that? I mean, I was really sincere. I was on the back porch of the Salvation Army, and I was with that guy Bill one day. This is after I'd been there a while, and I said, I want to play like him, Lord. I've lied all my life. I've been an adulterer. I've cheated. I've stolen. I've just been a wretch. I don't know what I'm good for. I don't even know what I can contribute to the kingdom. But I would love to do that if you would let me do that. And I'm telling you, it seemed like after that, opportunities started coming for me to play. I started getting confident. Even, I don't know how I sounded, but people were encouraging and let me play. And I started playing for the Salvation Army, piano, all kinds of stuff. It was just like I was free to worship the Lord. It was great. And Satan deceived me. I started to get bored, and I started to say, "Wow, is this all there is?" I kind of want to be like a John Mayer or somebody else. I want to get bigger and better. I don't want to just do it for church people. I want to do it for other people too. So I started playing this coffee house, and it wasn't long before I fell back into sin again. I started using cough syrup again and meth. And I met this girl at the Salvation Army. She worked there, and she was a pretty girl, but I had no idea that she was into the stuff that she was into. Her family was into some bad stuff, and I had heard that she was into witchcraft, but I didn't know. And when I tried to get out of that, that night, I kid you not, I was in the Salvation Army, and I was laying there in my bunk, and I was awakened at like 3 a.m, and I saw, I don't ask me how, I could see in a spirit realm, I could see this long line of demons that were just in this line, and they were taking turns stabbing me. And I woke up, and I was looking out there, and I could feel them doing that to me, and I was like really freaking out. And I rolled out onto the middle of the floor in the Salvation Army, and I wanted to scream. I mean, I'm talking, I wanted to scream. I rolled out onto the floor, and don't ask me how that works. I have no idea, but they were hurting me. They were stabbing me. Not physically. I wasn't bleeding here, but they were getting in me and getting a hold of my soul or my spirit. And I rolled out on that floor, and I was just like, I wanted to scream. I wanted to get help. This was bad. And I knew that if I had done that I might get put away somewhere. I mean, I didn't want that either. I was like, okay, I'm sitting here going through this, trying to work it out in my mind what I should do as they're doing this to me. And I'm thinking, okay, I can't do that. And I just started calling on Jesus. I mean, I was there on my knees in the middle of the floor. I was pouring down sweat. I was like, it was bad. And I said, Jesus, I was just begging him, Jesus, please. And after doing that for about a minute, I'm telling you what, I could see this cloud. It was like a horizontal cloud just kind of rolling in. And I saw Jesus standing right in the middle of that thing. And he was just walking very slowly towards me. And it was in the distance. It wasn't up close. I mean, he was kind of in the distance, and the cloud was rolling. And it was coming faster. And man, as soon as that cloud hit those demons, they were just, the best way I can describe it is like pinballs. I mean, they were just, or like bowling pins. They just went in different directions. And then that cloud hit me. And all of a sudden, all that sweat just cooled off. And I calmed down. I was cool. And I thought, thank you. And, Jesus, he didn't talk to me. He didn't stick around. He just turned around, started walking away. And it kind of hurts me that I did that to him. You know what I mean? I'm thankful that he did that. He saved me, but you know, that's not how I want to see Jesus. I want to see Jesus like smiling, you know, like, yay, you know, you're doing such a great job. You know, I want him to feel that way about me. I don't want him to. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. It still bothers me. You know, I don't want to do that to my Lord, you know, and Savior. Unfortunately, I knew that she was involved in that, but unfortunately I didn't stop. I was struggling. I was still struggling with drugs. And anyway, I moved out of the Salvation Army, and I moved into a studio type place, downtown Midland, which was close to the Salvation Army still, but it was downtown Midland, and it was right next to a coffee house, the coffee house I was playing at, and a Hilton was on another side of it. And basically, I had this whole building to myself. The guy that rented the studio space, he didn't even live there, so I had the key to this place, and I had a room in there, and I had the whole building. It was like 8 floors that were empty, and I could literally like walk up to the very top and look out over Midland. It was pretty amazing that I had that place. And anyway, one day I walked out of the studio. This was the next time I saw the Lord. I walked out of the studio, and I was just enjoying the day. I just walked out on the curb, and I was looking around, and I looked to my left, and there was a guy sitting over at the Hilton on the curb, and I could tell he was smoking a joint. He just kind of had it puckered, and you know how you hold a joint. And stupid me, you know, young Christian. I just walked over, and I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And "Pretty good. Where are you from?" You know, that kind of thing. And he said, "You want to hit off of this?" And I thought, "Well, that's not why I came over. I get maybe it is why I came over. I don't know, but sure." You know, so I took a hit off of it, and I started walking back to the studio. And I'm telling you, right when I walked in the doors of the studio, I went into this tunnel. I guess it was a vision, and it was black. And on the other side, when I came out on the other side, I saw it opened up to this giant white expanse. Just an atmosphere, just white, pure white. And there was a man sitting on a throne. And this throne was gold, and it was covered in jewels, and all kinds of different jewels. And he had wrist plates on that were solid gold with jewels in them. He had a breastplate with jewels all over it. He had sandals on. He had these shin plates that came up his shins that were solid gold with jewels on them. He had a beard that was fire, just like white, like the purest white you could ever imagine. It was just white, like almost like it was fake, like the stuff that's in pillows. I mean, it was just white. And I don't remember his hair. The beard was taken over because it was so long. It was long and white. What stuck out for me was he was just ripped. He was strong. I mean, big and cut. And there were flickering flames behind him, just flames everywhere. And what really stuck out also was his eyes had flames in them. They were fire. And I knew I was in trouble. I mean, I knew I had made God mad, but I didn't know who that was. I thought that was the Father, because I had already seen Jesus like a month before that, and that was, or maybe a month or two before that, but that was, Jesus looked kind of like we depict him as. He had this long white robe on, and it seemed like his hair was a little bit longer, had a beard and stuff. Like I said, it was kind of at a distance. But the second time, he was not like, I thought it was the Father. I didn't learn later until I read the Bible. I started reading the Bible finally, and I found out that was Jesus in his glorified form. And I'm telling you, like, when we finally stand before Jesus, it's going to be on. You know what I mean? He's not playing around. He was like, he was not some meek, soft little lamb. I mean, like shepherd. He was like ripped. He was a king. He was like there to conquer. I mean, yeah, if you stand before that man, you're not going to be you're not going to be trying to defend yourself, I'll tell you that. You're going to have a really hard time doing that. Yeah, he was all powerful right there, big time. So those are the two times that I saw Jesus right there in the beginning, and they weren't good times. I mean, I had screwed up both times. You know, when you see Jesus in those times, it doesn't feel very good. You know what I mean? It's like you want to see him doing good stuff, you know, obeying him and living right. Not under those situations, but that's, for whatever reason, he decided to let me see him, you know, both those times. And this is the first part of my testimony. It was pretty riveting, but the rest of it's also pretty riveting. And I'll get to that stuff later. But for now, this is about all I want to say with regard to that. But I would like to finish this by saying that my testimony, from what I've told you, I've seen Jesus. I've spoken with a devil. I've talked to the Holy Spirit. I mean, all of these things have happened in my life. I mean, it shouldn't require a lot of faith for me to follow the Lord, is what I'm saying. Like, I've seen a lot of things already. And you can too, you know what I mean? You can develop, if you don't know the Lord, you can have a relationship with the Lord. You just got to be willing to go for it. You got to be willing to go after it. You know what I mean? You got to have an open heart. Don't go into it with a hard heart or a doubting heart. Just go into it open-minded. Go into it ready to receive it. If you know what I mean? You got to go into it ready to receive. You don't want to go into it like pessimistic, like, you're really going to have to convince me. You know, don't do that. Go into it like very humble, very meekly, like as if you're approaching a real king, the king of the world, the universe. You know, you're not going to go in there like, you know what I mean? You're going to go in there very humble and meek and approach him with that attitude. You know what I mean? And he just might respond to you and show you that he's real. So I just want to leave you with that God is real. Jesus is real. Jesus is the way. He is the only way to heaven. He is real. Totally real. He is the Son of God. Everything the Bible says is true. It really is. Everything in there is true. Jesus, all these Christians, even the ones that have given Christianity a bad name, all of them that they've spoken of the Lord, yeah, he's true. Regardless of whether or not Christians have screwed up and made God look bad, it doesn't change it. He's real. He is totally real. So I encourage you to try and find him. Just do it. Try and find the Lord. He's real. And you will find him if you seek him with all your heart. And you have an open mind. And you're willing to come to him and be sensitive. So anyway, I just want to leave you with that. And I'm going to continue my testimony later.